Whoa, those are some seriously impressive numbers. They really highlight CrowdStrike's strong position in the cybersecurity market. It's obvious that businesses are making cybersecurity a top priority, especially with the rise of those increasingly sophisticated cyber threats we keep hearing about. CrowdStrike's AI-powered Falcon platform,
Uh-huh.
it's quickly becoming like the go-to solution for organizations that really want to protect their valuable assets.
You've been following Crowdstrike for a while now. So what do you make of this incredible growth? Does it surprise you at all? Or is this the trajectory you expected?
It's not really surprising to see CrowdStrike performing so well. I mean, they've consistently demonstrated their ability to innovate and stay ahead of the curve in cybersecurity. This growth trajectory, it's a testament to their strong execution and also the increasing demand for their solutions.
And they're definitely not being shy about their ambitions either. George Kurtz, Crowdstrike's CEO, stated in the press release, quote, delivering $224 million of net new ARR, which brings our ending ARR to $4.24 billion, places us firmly on the flight path to our $10 billion ending AR goal. So $10 billion with a B. What are your thoughts on this ambitious $10 billion goal? Do you think it's achievable? What does it tell us about their strategy?
Well, a $10 billion ARR target is certainly ambitious, but, it's not totally out of reach for CrowdStrike. They're operating in a market with huge potential, and they've already shown us they can capture market share very effectively. This goal, I think it tells us they're not just aiming for incremental growth. They're looking to dominate the entire cybersecurity landscape.
Now let's zoom in on some specific wins for CrowdStrike. The report highlights the stellar performance of their next-gen SIEM, cloud security, and identity protection businesses, which have collectively surpassed $1.3 billion in ending ARR. And get this, accounts adopting Falcon Flex, that's a new product, contributed over $1 billion in quarter deal value. George Kurtz emphasized this trend, saying, quote, customers are increasingly consolidating on the Falcon platform as their AI-native SoC for today and tomorrow.
I think the strong performance across these different product lines, it points to a larger trend. Businesses are adopting cloud-based security solutions more and more. As organizations shift their operations to the cloud, they need robust security measures to protect their data and applications. CrowdStrike is clearly in a really good position to capitalize on this growing need.
Can you break down these specific products for our listener? What makes them so successful?
Absolutely. Let's start with Next-Gen SIEM, which stands for Security Information and Event Management. Think of SIEM as like a security guard for your computer network. It monitors everything that's happening and alerts you if it spots anything suspicious. CrowdStrike's Next-Gen SIEM, it takes this a step further, using AI to automate threat detection and response, so it makes it much more efficient and effective.
So it's like having an AI-powered security guard that never sleeps
Yeah,
and is always on the lookout for trouble.
exactly. Then we have cloud security, which is specifically designed to protect cloud workloads from various cyber attacks. As more and more businesses rely on cloud services, ensuring data security in the cloud becomes absolutely critical. CrowdStrike's cloud security solutions, they provide that essential layer of protection.
Okay, so those two are all about vigilance and protection in different environments. What about identity protection?
Identity protection, it focuses on securing user accounts and access credentials. This is crucial for preventing those unauthorized access and data breaches, which we all know are becoming more and more common these days. CrowdStrike's identity protection solutions, they provide a robust defense against these types of threats. And then we have Falcon Flex. It's a flexible deployment model that allows customers to choose how they want to consume CrowdStrike's Falcon platform, making it even more adaptable to different needs and budgets.
So it sounds like they're offering a full security suite. It's customizable to each company's needs. Speaking of offering more, the report also mentions that CrowdStrike's module adoption rates have seen significant increases across the board. 67% for 5 or more modules, 48% for 6 or more, 32% for 7 or more, and a remarkable 21% for 8 or more modules. For a listener who may not be familiar with cybersecurity lingo, can you clarify what modules refer to and what these adoption rates signify?
Sure, modules represent different functionalities or capabilities within the CrowdStrike Falcon platform that customers can add to their core security solution. These modules cover a wide range of security needs, From endpoint detection and response to threat intelligence and vulnerability management, the fact that these adoption rates are increasing so dramatically means that customers are buying into more and more of CrowdStrike's offerings.
So it's not just about acquiring new customers, it's about deepening those relationships with existing ones.
Exactly. It signifies a growing trust in CrowdStrike's ability to provide comprehensive security solutions. Customers aren't just sticking with the basics. They're choosing to expand their security coverage by integrating more modules. This indicates that CrowdStrike is effectively addressing a wider range of their security concerns.
It seems like they've created the cybersecurity equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. Versatile, reliable, and seemingly indispensable.
That's a great analogy. And this trend of increasing module adoption, it underscores CrowdStrike's strength as a platform provider. Rather than just a point solution vendor, they're becoming a one-stop shop for cybersecurity needs.
They're definitely killing it on the product front. But what about other achievements in industry recognition? Because this report is packed with them.
You're right, they've had some impressive wins lately. What specifically caught your eye?
Well, for starters, they've launched Charlotte AI Detection Triage, an AI-powered system that helps security teams with, you guessed it, threat detection and response. It's all about streamlining those crucial security operations. Then there's CrowdStrike Insider Risk Services, which aims to detect and prevent threats from insiders, whether it's a negligent employee or a malicious actor within an organization. And they've expanded their leadership in hybrid identity protection with Falcon Identity Protection for Microsoft Entra ID. This is especially important in the age of hybrid work, where employees are accessing resources from both within the corporate network and remotely.
All of those are significant developments, and they address very real and pressing security concerns. Charlotte AI Detection Triage. It's a game changer because it tackles a major pain point for security teams, who are often overwhelmed by the sheer volume of alerts and data they need to sift through.
It's like having an AI co-pilot for your security team.
Precisely. It helps to automate the initial stages of threat detection and response, freeing up valuable time and resources for security professionals to focus on more complex tasks and investigations. And insider risk services is crucial in today's threat landscape because, unfortunately, threats can come from within an organization just as easily as from external actors. These insider threats can be particularly damaging, as they often involve individuals with privileged access to sensitive data and systems.
So we've got AI lending a hand and protection from potential turncoats. What else is going on?
Well, they aced security tests conducted by SE Labs, achieving perfect scores in detection, protection, and accuracy in their 2024 Enterprise Advanced Security EDR ransomware test. They were also named a customer's choice in the 2024 Gartner Peer Insights Voice of the Customer for Managed Detection and Response report. And if that wasn't enough, Forrester Consulting conducted a total economic impact study that found using Falcon Identity Protection yielded a staggering 310% return on investment. With a payback period of less than 6 months, we're talking $1.26 million in total benefits over 3 years.
Well, those accolades are nothing to sneeze at.
Why?
Why are these achievements so noteworthy for our listener? These awards aren't just for show, right?
Absolutely not. These achievements speak to CrowdStrike's credibility and effectiveness, recognition from industry analysts like Gartner and Forrester, coupled with top performance in independent security tests, provides valuable third-party validation. It demonstrates that CrowdStrike's solutions deliver on their promises and that their customers are seeing real, tangible benefits.
So it's not just marketing hype. It's backed by real results and industry recognition.
Precisely. These achievements serve as a strong indicator of CrowdStrike's leadership in the cybersecurity industry.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground already. From CrowdStrike's impressive financials to their AI-powered solutions and remarkable industry recognition. But we're not done yet. Let's shift gears and look at their financial outlook for the future and what it could mean for you, the listener. Stay with us.
Now let's turn our attention to CrowdStrike's financial projections for the future.
The report provides guidance for both Q1 of fiscal year 2026 and the full fiscal year 2026. What's the outlook looking like?
Well, they're projecting total revenue for Q1 of fiscal year 2026 to be somewhere between $1,100.6 million and $1,106.4 million.
All right.
And for the full fiscal year 2026, they're expecting total revenue between $4,743.5 million and $4,805.5 million.
Those are some pretty hefty figures. It sounds like they're expecting to maintain this incredible growth. The report also mentions guidance for non-GAAP income from operations, non-GAAP net income attributable to CrowdStrike, and non-GAAP net income per share. Can you decode these non-GAAP figures for us and explain what they reveal about CrowdStrike's financial health?
Sure, non-GAAP figures are basically adjusted financial metrics. That excludes certain items, like stock-based compensation expense, which might not reflect the core operational performance of the business. Investors often look at these non-GAAP figures to get a clearer picture of the underlying profitability and cash flow generation of a company.
So it's like peeking behind the curtain of those standard accounting practices
Yeah,
to get a better understanding of the real financial engine driving the business.
exactly. And in this case, CrowdStrike's non-GAAP guidance suggests that they anticipate strong profitability and earnings growth in the coming year.
Okay, that's definitely reassuring for investors. The report also mentions some changes in how they're presenting these non-GAAP measures, specifically around employer payroll taxes related stock-based awards, and the adoption of a long-term projected non-GAAP tax rate of 22.5%. What's the thinking behind these changes?
Well, these changes are primarily about providing greater consistency and transparency in their financial reporting. By including those employer payroll taxes related to stock-based compensation as part of their stock-based compensation expense, they're aligning with evolving best practices and providing a more comprehensive view of this expense category.
So it's like tidying up the accounting bookshelf
Hmm.
to make sure everything is categorized correctly and presented clearly.
That's a good way to put it. And the adoption of that long-term projected non-JAC tax rate. It aims to smooth out potential fluctuations in their reported tax expense due to things like changes in tax laws or their own geographic mix of earnings. This provides investors with a more stable and predictable view of their future earnings.
Okay, that makes sense. So taking all this into account, the revenue projections, the non-GAAP guidance, and these changes in presentation, what's the big takeaway for our listener? What does it all mean for CrowdStrike's future?
I think the overall message is one of continued growth and profitability. CrowdStrike is projecting solid revenue growth in the coming year, and their non-JAP guidance suggests they're managing costs well and converting that revenue growth into healthy earnings.
So it's not just about growing the top line, it's about building a sustainable and profitable business.
Exactly. And the changes in their non-GAAP presentation demonstrate a commitment to clear and consistent financial reporting, which is always a good sign for investors. All of these factors reinforce CrowdStrike's position as a leader in the cybersecurity industry and indicate continued value creation for its investors.
CrowdStrike is clearly a force to be reckoned with in the cybersecurity landscape. As we've been talking about CrowdStrike's success, it's clear that AI is playing a bigger and bigger role in their strategy. They're using AI to detect threats, analyze data, and even predict future attacks.
You're absolutely right. AI is becoming an indispensable tool in the fight against cybercrime.
It's fascinating how AI is transforming cybersecurity. But it also makes me wonder, are there any potential downsides to this increasing reliance on AI?
That's a great question, and one that as cybersecurity experts are thinking about a lot. While AI offers tremendous benefits, it's important to remember that it's still a technology under development. There are always potential risks and challenges that need to be considered.
For example, could hackers find ways to exploit AI systems or use AI themselves to launch more sophisticated attacks?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. As AI systems become more complex, they could potentially have vulnerabilities that hackers could exploit. It's like any new technology, there's always a learning curve and a period of adaptation as we figure out how to use it safely and effectively.
So it's a bit of a cat and mouse game. As cybersecurity professionals develop new AI-powered defenses, hackers are trying to find ways to outsmart those defenses.
Exactly. It's an ongoing arms race, and both sides are constantly evolving their tactics.
That brings up another question. How do we ensure that AI is being used responsibly and ethically in cybersecurity?
That's a crucial point. As AI becomes more powerful, we need to make sure that it's being used for good and not for harm. There need to be clear guidelines and safeguards in place to prevent AI from being misused.
For instance, we don't want AI systems making decisions about who to target or what actions to take without human oversight.
Absolutely. Human judgment and accountability are essential when it comes to cybersecurity. AI can be a powerful tool, but it should always be used in a way that respects human rights and ethical principles.
So it's about finding the right balance between the power of AI and the wisdom of human judgment.
Precisely. We need to harness the potential of AI while ensuring that it's used responsibly and ethically.
All right, we've delved into CrowdStrike's impressive financials, their AI-driven innovations, and some of the broader implications of AI and cybersecurity. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with a final thought-provoking question. We've talked about AI being used defensively in cybersecurity, but what about its potential use offensively?
That's a very interesting question. AI could certainly be used offensively in cyber warfare.
Imagine AI-powered cyber weapons, capable of crippling critical infrastructure
Hmm.
or disrupting entire economies. It's a sobering thought.
It's definitely something to think about. As AI technology continues to advance, we need to be prepared for the possibility that it could be used for both good and bad purposes.
It's like any powerful tool. It can
Yeah,
be used to build or destroy. It all depends on the intentions of the user.
that's a great way to put it. The future of AI and cybersecurity is full of potential, but it also comes with risks and challenges that we need to address.
All right, listeners, we've reached the end of our second part, exploring CrowdStrike's fourth quarter 2025 earnings report. We've examined their strong financial performance, their commitment to AI-driven security solutions, and some of the broader implications of AI in cybersecurity. But our deep dive isn't over yet. In our final segment, we'll wrap things up and explore some key takeaways for you. Wow, feels like we've really uncovered a treasure trove of insights into CrowdStrike and the future of cybersecurity.
Yeah, it's a rapidly evolving landscape for sure, and Crowdstrike is right at the forefront, driving innovation and pushing the limits of what's possible with AI-powered security.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from their financial performance to their cutting-edge AI solutions, and even touched on the potential for AI in cyber warfare. For our listener, what's the key takeaway they should walk away with?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is that cybersecurity is no longer just an IT issue. It's a core business imperative.
Hmm.
Every organization, no matter how big or small or what industry they're in, needs to make cybersecurity a top priority and invest in the right solutions to protect their valuable assets. And more, those solutions are going to involve AI.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if you'll be targeted by cyber criminals. It's a matter of when.
That's the unfortunate reality we face in today's digital world. But the good news is that companies like CrowdStrike are developing these really sophisticated tools to help organizations stay one step ahead. They're leveraging AI to detect threats faster, respond more effectively, and even predict future attacks.
So it's like having a digital immune system that's constantly learning and evolving to combat new threats.
That's a great analogy. But even with the most advanced tools, human expertise and vigilance are still crucial.
So it's a partnership between humans and AI.
Absolutely. AI can automate a lot of tasks and provide valuable insights, but it's ultimately human judgment and decision making. That will determine how effective any cybersecurity strategy is. So finding that right balance between automation and human oversight is key.
As we start to wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with one final thought. We talked about CrowdStrike's incredible growth trajectory and their ambitious goal of reaching $10 billion in ARR. They're clearly aiming for market dominance.
They're definitely on the right path. Their strong financial performance, innovative solutions, and commitment to AI position them very well for continued success.
But here's the question I'm left with. In this pursuit of growth, will CrowdStrike be able to maintain their focus on innovation and customer satisfaction?
That's the challenge for any company that's experiencing rapid growth. It's easy to get caught up in the numbers and lose sight of what truly matters, which is delivering exceptional products and services that meet their customers' evolving needs.
So it's a tightrope walk for sure. But if CrowdStrike can maintain that delicate balance, I think their future looks incredibly bright.
I agree. They have a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see what they accomplish in the years to come.
And that concludes our deep dive into CrowdStrike's fourth quarter 2025 earnings report. We've explored their impressive achievements, the growing role of AI in cybersecurity, and some of the key questions that lie ahead. As always, thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for our next deep dive.